It's Taro for the Peter Channel New News Report on this Thursday afternoon, August 4th, 2016. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Peter Wiggins, and I have 12 new news and odds. Top story at the noontime hour on this Thursday afternoon is Donald Trump might be in real trouble this time. While a double-digit deficit in the polls as defectors from prominent Republicans stuck to a political victory candidate who posted in the interview that he is happy with his statement, refusing to endorse the Speaker of the House. An American woman was killed and 5 other people injured in a 7 attack in London's Russell Square by a region man of Somali origin who was arrested after the incident, 4TD said. The feds on Thursday arrested a North Carolina man who allegedly aspired to create an Islamic State sleeper cell in the U.S. and who 4TD said was a close contact with a pair of Texas extremists who plotted an attack on the Dry the Prophet, Muhammad. The appearance of the notification of the Swiki beach resort is just a pretext that unleashed terror for at least 2 years. ISIS has been telling foreign fighters who wish to join the Islamic group in Syria to book round-trip tickets as stubborn. A Taliban attack on a group of foreign tourists in Afghanistan that left at least 6 people wounded is not the first of its kind in the country. Jerusalem, Gaza, head of a U.S.-based humanitarian aid organization, World Vision, funneled as much as $7 million a year over the past 10 years to Hamas terror activities, Israel's domestic security agency said on Thursday. The flight attendant's voice was filled with anxiety as she tried to herd passengers to Emirates airline born 737-300 that crashed landed at Dubai International Airport. Bangladeshi police officers at a checkpoint in the road leading a Holy Artisan Bakery at the scene of a fatal attack on the stage last month in Dhaka, the capital, as Bangladeshi police arrest 2 suspected of terror attack on the bakery. Washington, a cash payment of $4 million delivered to Iran in January became the part of a presidential campaign Wednesday as Donald Trump sees the money transferred as a sign of what he called an administration of failed foreign policy. Seoul, North Korea's People's Army held a Oh-Jung-Yep 7th Regiment military rally for the first time in 10 years. Kim Jong-un attended. Caracas, Venezuela. A Venezuelan general indicted on U.S. on cocaine trafficking charges has been named as Venezuela's new interim justice minister by President Maduro. So, excessive performance requirements are being blamed for the delay in the development of a South Korean-made infrared countermeasure device. Abuja, Nigeria, the later Islamist terrorist group Boko Haram and Sisi is still in charge, accusing an alleged successor of staging a coup against him. Families of 2 Roswell teens shot and killed beyond a public are make funeral arrangements on a day after a man was arrested and charged with murder. New York, a new law that requires food makers to label the packaging and eat products that contain genetically modified ingredients that small and medium-sized manufacturers face some big decisions. Washington, the divided Supreme Court agreed Wednesday to temporarily block the lower court order that had cleared the way for a transgender male high school student to use the boys' property in Virginia public schools this fall. Reedville, North Carolina, a North Carolina man who reported to say killed a former immigration official when in Florida mayor about 40 years ago. Washington, President Obama is joining his highest popularity since immediately being sworn in for a second term, according to the poll released on Thursday. Mark Gilbert is after the tumultuous summer at Tesla Motors Incorporated, Elon Musk spent most of his time in an earnings conference call assuring investors that his grand plans are intact despite missing expectation for sales and earnings in this quarter. Washington, the number of Americans filed for unemployment benefits unexpectedly rose last week while renewed job cuts in the energy sector boosted layoffs announced by the U.S. After drifting to higher for nearly monetary rates retreated this week but remained with a tight band as the market's calm home loan rates stabilized. Falls Church, Virginia. Northrop Grumman has received the U.S. Navy contract to produce a second E-2D Advanced Hawkeye aircraft for Japan Committee announced Wednesday. Rome, the Italian Coast Guard has ordered 2 more Leonardo Finimecchia AW-139 helicopters the committee announced Thursday. Jacksonville, Florida. The Sapphire Airline Group announced Thursday that $7.3 million to do supply the New York City Police Department with a variety of corrective next year. Washington, the U.S. State Department has approved a possible $300 million foreign military sale to Argentina for TC-6C Texan aircraft. The department announced Wednesday. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Atlantic City Trump Taj Mahal Casino Resort will shut down after Labor Day due to a prolonged strike by workers at Casino Hotel announced. Hey, look at the stocks in the Dow. Down 1.17 at 18,353.83. SP 500 up 1.52 at 2165.31. And Nasdaq up 6.10 at 5,165.84. A billionaire entrepreneur who made his fortune during the dot-com boom is one step closer to making a little moonshot of the business opportunity became a reality. The Black men and women who have a sickle cell trait don't see any more increased risk of death than those women without the trait have risk factors include obesity, older age, and history of smoking induced, any American Service member said. A National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases has injected 2 human volunteers with experimental DNA-based Zika vaccine. Director Anthony Fauci had announced today, a month ahead of his projected scheduled vaccine development. Women who had tonsils and appendix removed are more likely to get pregnant, according to UK study. How cows and the Amish may help prevent asthma in children and as it's so uncommon among Amish communities where children play barefoot in dirty parts of the farm fields. Republicans' frustration in Donald Trump has reached new heights with help from Eric Gill. Donald Trump is making his way to Minnesota. The Republican presidential hopeful is scheduled to host a fundraiser in Minnesota. In Minneapolis. And the minute reports of campaign discord. Donald Trump regroups in Daytona Beach. And local news, more than 200 homes and businesses in Seacock and Rehoboth lost electricity Wednesday night after a vehicle-driven ride. Alleged truck driver hit a utility pole in Bourbon Street in Rehoboth. The crash brought Mars down across the road. The driver and the sole occupant of the car, Timothy Beale, 23 of Pleasant Hills, California, suffered minor injuries. Rehoboth police Sergeant Brian Ramos said further investigation at the scene revealed Beale was allegedly operated his car while under the influence of alcohol. Ramos said the crash was reported about 9:45 p.m. The area of 299 Providence Street, heavy damage at both the car and the pole. Boston, Massachusetts cities and towns still have a lot of work ahead of them to gear up to one of the biggest changes in the state election law in decades. That's to find in a new report by the Lookout prepared communities that let voters cast ballots as early as 11 business days before election day. The change was mandated by a 2014 law that takes effect for the first time in November. Boston, 5 alleged associates of New York-based Genovese Graham family have been arrested on extortion-related charges in Massachusetts. Peter Chell News on 12:07 and 7.5 for Sports Report. Tonight, the Boston Red Sox will be taking on the Seattle Mariners. The finale of a 4-game series at Safeco Field in Seattle. The Oakland City Thunder have reached a new deal with the All-Star guard Russell Westbrook. The two sides agreed on a new 3-year contract of $85.7 million, according to the person who directed all to the terms. Mutation, when Mutation was awarded in 2016 Summer Olympic Games 7 years ago. One of Butzos was a hot shot. Car salesman for Rio, Citroen, and Pitco. Esquire called it upcoming Boston Celtics season. Kelly Olynyk said he hasn't really thought much about the topic yet. Her career spanned more than a quarter century, including 7 Olympic Games. Oksana's first Olympics was Barcelona in 1992. Many aspects of the ancient Olympic Games will be perfectly familiar with the fans of the upcoming games in Rio de Janeiro, elite international competition, cheering crowds of tens of thousands of events like sprints, wrestling, discus, and javelin. Rio 2016 officially gets away with the Olympics opening ceremony Friday, but the action kicks off 2 days before that with a soccer on Wednesday, which it did. Peter Channel News Time, 12:08 on this Thursday afternoon, and it is time now for a Travigan Trend Report. Let's dive in on the MBTA, where all westbound Greenland trains will pick up drop-off at Truck Weather Park Street on Thursday, August 4th from about 9 p.m. at the end of the service. SL4 and SL5 still out, experiencing minor delays due to traffic on the commuter rail. It's looking good, and on the ferries, they are looking good. Alright, take a look at some highways and byways of New England. Highways and byways of New York City are Slogo in Connecticut, 95 at the northbound side is backed up for Greenwich down to Norwalk, 95 at the southbound side is backed up for Norwalk to Stamford. Merritt Parkway is southbound side, it is backed up after Route 7 in Norwalk headed towards Stamford. Merritt Parkway in the northbound side of Little Bridgeport stretch, 95 at both ends Little before Route 91 in New Haven, 84 West Banside, Little Soda, Waterbury, Connecticut. 91 at North Banside, Inspector for I-84, Hartford, Connecticut. Berkshire Ferry on both ends, Little Soda from Tucson Street, Freeway to the Massachusetts border, and Mass Park on the West Banside, a little so around Beckett. 91 in the South Banside, back to 291 to 57 in Springfield. 91 in the North Banside, a little so Northampton stretch. Mass Park changes with 91 in Chickpea and 293, 95 at Auburn. It's a little slow. 485 in the South Banside, a little slow just about 290 in Marlborough. 60 connect to a little slow from 6 to 95 in Providence. 95 in the South Banside is backed up after Route 37 in Warwick. Route 4 in the North Banside also before 43 in Quonset. 1-3 in the East Banside is backed up at Jamestown and Newport Bridge. Route 3 in South Banside is backed up the Braintree split all the way out to 220 in Rockland. Route 3 in the North Banside is backed around 220 in Rockland. Route 3 in the South Banside is backed up from Marshfield down to Plymouth. 128 on the North Banside is backed up from 135 in Needham to Route 9 in Wolseley. Southeast Expressway at both ends also from Boston area to Dorchester. 120 in the South Banside is backed up for 24 and ran up to the Braintree split. 120 on the North Banside is backed up for Waltham to Route 2 in Lexington. 120 in South Banside is backed up for Route 1 in Peabody all the way out to Route 2 in Lexington. 120 on the North Banside is backed up after 93 out in Redden. 120 on the North Banside, it is slow before Route 90. 128 in Redden. 485 on the South Banside is backed up Westford to Route 2 in Littleton. 485 on the North Banside is also Westford and hit race again after Route 3 in Lowell. 95 on the North Banside is backed up at Newburyport all the way up to the Hampton Tolls. 93 on the North Banside is also just before Route 401 in Manchester, New Hampshire. 93 on the North Banside is backed up after the Everett Turnpike up around the Tolls in Manchester, New Hampshire. Route 7 is also over the Manchester stretch. 89 on the South Banside is also after Canadian Board up in Vermont. Our Route 55 on both ends is also around south of Sherbrooke, Quebec, just before the U.S. border. 95 on the South Banside is backed up for Pomard and Waterville. And 87 it's slow around Route 11 up in Plattsburgh, and on Route 15 it's backed up after Canadian Border up in Southern Quebec headed towards Montreal. And it's great on the East Banside, also east of Utica, New York. Peter Chell News Times now 12:12 on this Thursday afternoon, and it is a terrific Thursday afternoon, so I got any outdoor activities. Perfecto weather. Alright, 7-day forecast goes like this. But this afternoon says God, 84 degrees. South about 5 to down bottom. For tonight, here's a fall after 3 a.m. was. Most coast coming at 54 degrees. South about 6 miles coming to DD. For Friday, here's a fall before 8 a.m. was. Precise God at 84 degrees. Coming south at 5 to 8 miles in the morning. Friday night, slight change of showers after 3 a.m. Part clouds coming about 64 degrees. Southwest at about 6 miles an hour. Chance of pitches 20%. Saturday, change of showers. Storms. Most cloudy part clouds at 85 about 65 degrees. Chance patient 30% Sunday, Sunday most good sky at 85 about 61 degrees. Monday, Sunday most good sky at 82 about 60 degrees. But Tuesday, Sunday most good sky at 86 about 63 degrees. And for Wednesday, most sun sky have at 88 degrees. Currently not near it, it's clear skies and it's 83 degrees with a humidity of 51%. And that is going to be it for the Peter Channel New News Report on this August 4th, 2016 on Thursday. I'm Peter. We have a good afternoon, good Friday. I'll see you at 5 o'clock for a 5 o'clock report. Have a good afternoon.